Hi everyone, and welcome to this podcast recorded as part of the EXIL project. This project aims to share experiences and help exiled students feel more included in higher education. I'm Fabienne Ferrerons, Program Coordinator for Students in Exile at Jean Moulin University Lyon 3 in France. Today, we'll hear from 3 students who have lived through exile. They will tell us about their journeys, the challenges they faced, and how they managed to overcome them to succeed in their studies. We'll first listen to Rita Katula, then to Shakerula Azizi, and finally to Fatima Aydari. Rita, the floor is yours.
I'd like to take you on a journey today, not across countries, but across borders that are often invisible. The borders between survival and dignity, between being seen and being erased. Before 2012, I had what most would call a normal life. I was studying chemistry at university in Iraq. At 16, I created my first student association to help other students succeed. I was active, I was hopeful, I was building a future. But in Iraq, being part of a minority meant living with constant fear. The political situation was fragile, and eventually we had to leave. We fled to Turkey, hoping to reunite with family in the USA through the UNHCR resettlement program. But life had other plans. We stayed in Turkey for 7 years. 7 years of waiting. 7 years of learning. 7 years of realizing that exile wasn't just my story. It was a global reality. I worked. I learned Turkish. I joined international organizations. And I began to see the world differently. Eventually, we were given the chance to move to France. It happened fast. We landed in a small village in the south. The welcome was warm. The challenges came later. No French classes. No system ready to include me. I had to teach myself the language at home, alone. When I went to France Travail, the advisor looked at my experience and said, "Madame, forget your past. You'll need to start from zero. Start from zero. After all I had lived, after all I had learned." They sent me to a literacy center, only to be told I was too educated to join. I was stuck between being too much and not enough. That was the moment I understood. If the system won't give me space, I'll create my own. So I taught myself French. I contacted 30 universities across France one by one. Only a few responded. Lyon welcomed me into the second year of a bachelor's degree. It wasn't easy. I arrived alone. No academic French, no housing. The Kraus had denied my request for a university room. At the last minute, I found a room in a Lebanese student residence. At university, I was the invisible student. No one knew me. I struggled to understand lectures. I was marked like any French student, but I had to work 10, 20, 50 times harder. I cried. I doubted myself. I heard classmates comment on my accent. Professors comment on my silence. Some friends sold me their notes because I wasn't fast enough to take my own. In spite of everything, I kept going. Giving up was never an option. Eventually, I completed my degree in Lyon, then moved to Montpellier for a master's in political science, which I passed with honors. And that's when I asked myself, how many others are silently struggling, like I did? I didn't want anyone else to go through this alone, so I created a support community. It started on social media. It became an association, helping refugees navigate higher education in France. Because when I first arrived, I had motivation, I had capacity. But the only thing offered to me was silence. That's why I say this. Don't tell people to start from zero. Ask them what they've already built. Today I'm a PhD candidate in political science. I work on refugee integration policies in higher education. I want to rethink how we welcome, how we include, how we empower. Because no one should lose their potential to bureaucracy, borders, or bias. My story is not exceptional. It's simply invisible and today. I want to make it visible, so that others too can write and live their own stories.
Thank you, Rita. Now let's listen to Shakirullah.
My name is Azizi Shakirullah and I come from Afghanistan, from the city of Mazar-e-Sharif, in the north of the country. I obtained my high school diploma in 2009. Then I went to earn a bachelor degree in law at the University of Balkh in 2012, followed by a master degree from Salam University in Kabul in 2020. From 2015 to 2021, I worked as a defense lawyer for the Independent Bar Association of Afghanistan. From 2018 to 2020, I volunteered with a civil society organization to raise awareness, provide advice, and prevent violence against women. In 2021, I joined the Ministry of Justice as a specialist responsible for training staff and strengthening their legal skills. After the fall of the government on the 15th August 2021, I had to leave the country. I arrived in France in January 2022 as a political refugee. My family joined me 7 months later. Today, I am in the second year of a master's degree in international law, specializing in international organization law at Jean Moulin University Lyon 3. I currently live in the city of Mâcon with my family. I am the father of 6 children, 3 girls and 3 boys. When I arrived in France, I didn't know any single word of French. I was housed by the Asylum Seekers Center in the small town of Saint-Loup-sur-Semouse in the Bourgogne-Franche-Comté region. I quickly obtained my papers. From the beginning, I taught myself French, then took 2 months of classes with the OFII, the French Office for Immigration and Integration. I had my bachelor's degree officially recognized as equivalent through the INIC-NARIC website. My social worker helped me to register at the university. I took the entrance exam for the university diploma, pathway from students in exile, which I started in September 2022 at Lyon 3. This program taught me the language, academic methodology, French culture, and legal French. As part of the DU, I also volunteered with the Charming de Mâcon Association, which runs a night shelter for homeless people. Thanks to this first experience, I now work as a night supervisor at the night shelter run by this association. The DU Passerelle, or Pathway, program was my main hope for being able to resume my studies. This program helped me a lot because I obtained the DALF C1, Diplôme approfondi de la langue française, which was one of the criteria for entering law school. In addition, when I was enrolled in the DU Passerelle program, 2 associations got involved. UNIR, Université et Réfugiés, which introduced us to the Mon Master platform, Réfugiés et Enseignement Supérieur, which helps refugees and asylum seekers gain easier access to higher education. Finally, the CDO, Information, Documentation and Guidance Center at Jean Moulin University Lyon 3, is a service that supports students in their academic careers. I had individual and group meetings to help me choose my master's degree specialization. Today, I am in the second year of my master's degree at Lyon 3 University. I have completed my first year and I'm currently looking for a 6-month internship. I am involved as a member of the events team for the AMI Masters Association at Lyon 3 University, and I also volunteer with UNICEF in Lyon. 7 months ago, I got my driver's license in France. At the beginning of this year, I gave a lecture in Lyon on the rights of Afghan women at the request of Amnesty International on the occasion of the 8th March Day. In 2023, to support myself and my family, I worked in the restaurant industry on weekends and at night, since I was at the Basra during the week. Recently, I had my naturalization interview at the Saône-et-Loire prefecture with a view to integrating better and finding my place socially and professionally in France. To improve my French, I have joined several associations, France Service and MJC in my neighborhood, and regularly take part in the activities. Concerning the difficulties and problems, firstly, learning French, which is a particularly rich and complex language.
Afin de pouvoir comprendre un texte en français, puis rédiger une dissertation ou une synthèse, c'était très compliqué. Le isolement aussi était particulièrement difficile à surmonter quand on arrive
in a new country and a new society. You don't know anyone, and sometimes you are ashamed to ask for help.
Et on ne sait pas comment demander cette aide.
C'était that was also a difficulty.
Pendant les cours,
I currently struggle to take note verbatim.
Ce sont donc les camarades qui envoient leurs cours par mail ou bien je les consulte sur leur drive.
I print them out so I can learn and review them.
Apprendre et réviser.
If I don't understand a subject,
si je comprends pas un sujet,
I do my own research.
J'ai pris, je fais mes
I am very grateful to my classmates for helping me.
Envers mes camarades qui m'ont aidé.
What bothers
Cependant,
me
ce qui me gêne,
I have not yet managed
que je n'ai
to
pas
build
encore réussi à construire des amitiés fortes avec les autres étudiants.
But I have been able to establish sincere and deep connections in my professional and social life. I feel that we remain isolated in truly conveying our specific situation and the extent of our challenges. How I overcame them, as I explained, my solutions. I established a simple routine, attending classes at the university, then going to the library to review my notes. I benefited greatly from the support and understanding of my wife and children.
Compréhension de mon épouse et de mes enfants. Il m'a fallu beaucoup de persévérance, être contente pour les petites victoires et travailler sans relâche.
Thank you, Shakerula. To close this podcast, let's listen to our final guest, Fatima.
My name is Fatima. I'm from Afghanistan. I have lived in Lyon, France for almost 3 years. As I was studying in Afghanistan, I chose to learn French instead of English. Each semester, we had to take exams in order to evaluate our level. Once, before taking the DELE B2 exam, I had an accident and I couldn't take the exam while all my friends had passed and got scholarships. Another time, before an exam, the regime changed and the institution which was organizing exams had closed its center in all the country, in Afghanistan, thus cancelled the exams. At that time, I was working in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Because of some circumstances and the situation in my country, I was forced to leave Afghanistan and migrate to Iran. There, I applied to Jean Moulin University Lyon, and as I was learning French, I received my university acceptance letter. A few months later, I came to France. Throughout my journey, I have received various types of support. The most important types have been social and human support without any prejudice. Language classes, advice for my studies, and social assistance have enabled me to develop my skills and self-confidence. One of my fondest memories is meeting my teachers. Most of them were demanding, but very kind and understanding. My biggest challenges were the linguistic and cultural difficulties here in France. When I first arrived, the language was my biggest difficulty. The French I had learned before in Afghanistan was very different from the French people speak here. It is still a challenge for me today. And when I came for the first time in French classes and groups, students who already knew each other from the year before struggled to accept a new one. I felt very isolated. This prevented me from speaking easily, as I was not very present at university or outside the home. Even though my reading, listening, and writing skills were good, my main problem was speaking and communication. I overcame my problems through hard work, perseverance, and seizing opportunities. For me, the first step towards progress is acceptance. I accepted loneliness and tried to send my CV everywhere I could, even though I often received no response. I knew that the only way to improve my language was to dive into a real environment. All I was learning had to be used in my daily life. Otherwise, I was forgetting. Moreover, following classes and creating a network with other people helps me to develop my skills and my self-confidence. In Afghanistan, I was active since my teenagehood. I was writing and publishing articles about women's situation, social pressures, and girls' life conditions.
de vie des filles. J'ai poursuivi mes études en droit et
I
sciences
continued my
politiques à
studies
l'université
in law
des
and
Rates. En
political
même temps, j'ai
sciences.
participé à des projets
At the same time, I
professionnels et
participated
bénévoles,
in
notamment
professional
sur la
and voluntary
éducation des
projects,
femmes, la lutte contre
particularly
la
in the
corruption,
areas of women's
et
education,
aussi la
the fight
protection
against
de
corruption,
minorités.
and the
J'ai
protection
été
of
aussi membre de
minorities.
la société civile.
I
J'ai
was also
participé
a
à des
member of civil
activités sociales.
society and participated in social
Aujourd'hui,
activities.
grâce à
Today,
mes expériences
thanks to my
personnelles et
personal and
professionnelles
professional
et ma
experiences
compréhension
and my deep
profonde des
understanding
défis et
of the
réfugiés,
challenges
je peux
faced by
être
refugees, I have
élu
been
comme
elected
représentant
as a
pour
representative
faire
to give a voice to
entendre la voix
exiles,
des exilés,
refugees,
des
and
réfugiés
migrants.
et des migrants. En réalité, je
Actually,
cherchais
I was looking
un
for an
stage
internship
pour
for my
ma
second
deuxième
year
année de
of my
master
master degree
en
in
expertise et
international
risques
risk
internationaux
management
à
at the
l'Université Lyon
University
3.
of Lyon 3.
Par hasard, j'ai découvert ce
By
projet.
chance, I
Après
discovered
plusieurs
this project.
entretiens et un test de langue,
After several
j'ai
interviews and a language test, I reached the final stage, which was the parliamentary elections.
élections parlementaires.
As I did not have a large network of friends here, I used my old contacts with friends and colleagues and launched a small campaign in France.
Mes amis et mes collègues et lancé une petite campagne en France.
In the end, I was elected as one of the representatives in the Parliament of Exiles. My goal at the Parliament of Exiles is to create a national digital platform to gather the experiences and needs of immigrants, exiles, and refugees, and to offer them a space where they can express their priorities in their daily lives.
Exprimer leurs priorités dans leur vie quotidienne.
My goal is to continue my professional and social activities at the international level. I want to work in the political and cultural sphere of the United Nations. I also want to write my own book to share my story, my struggles, and my hopes with future generations. My message to those following a similar path is to never lose hope, no matter how difficult things get. Seize opportunities because effort and perseverance always pay off in the end.
Thank you, Rita, Shakirula, Fatima, for sharing your stories with us today. It's been truly inspiring. And thank you to everyone listening. We hope you'll join us again for the next episode of the Exile Project podcast.